Hey everybody, it's Robert. Uh, today's video is going to be fairly simple, but it's going to also be uh, somewhat complicated to follow. So my suggestion is to try your best to pay attention carefully. So I'm going to kind of do a human being episode with a hint of perspective and a question of truth. Okay. So, what I want to start by saying is I'm also going to add some stereotype into this as well, because when we think of human beings, um, I don't think that I don't know if people know exactly what a human being is, because we stereotype everybody, but nowhere do we call human beings human beings. So when I say that we stereotype people with these labels that people are so pissed off about anymore, and they don't want labels anymore. And we'll get to that in a minute. But we give each other these stereotypes. Okay, so you're walking down the street, all right, and you look around while you're walking down the street, and to many people, you see a black girl, a white guy, a Chinese man, a Mexican, but nowhere you see a child, you see a dog, you see a tree, but nowhere do you see the human being. You again, and I've said this in other videos, you just see with your eyes. So we have a general stereotype. All right. Well, there's a fat guy. Oh, there's a fat girl. There's oh man, that guy's super hot. Oh my God, look at that chick's ass. That's how we see people. Okay. And it's awful. It's awful. So stereotyping. This is what gets us in trouble. This is where we as a human race, this is where we're fucking everything up, because we continue to see these stereotypes. I mean, I think about the 90s. Okay, so I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and there was a stereotype about people that had tattoos. That in some parts of the world is still true. The people with tattoos that are bad people. I have several of them. Why does that make me a bad person? Because I choose to express myself through art, and I have no artistic ability, so I hire somebody with artistic ability to give me art. that's it doesn't make me a bad person. We have a stereotype right now that if you voted for Donald Trump or you support Donald Trump in any way, that you're a racist and you're homophobic and you're pretty much an asshole and don't deserve to breathe air. Over what? Over who you voted for president? Like, again, you're going to notice that all of these videos all connect because we continue division. Stereotyping people is a form of dividing. And everybody knows it. It's a form of dividing. Divide and conquer. That is what the people above us are all about doing because they're scared of us. Oh my God, are they scared of us? Sorry for saying God. They are scared of us because if we come together, they got nothing. Like we as human beings, we just have to stop not looking at each other as human beings. We have to stop looking at each other like race and culture and God no gender, everything. Like it's not helping us. And one thing that doesn't help us, it's bad enough that the people above us, and yeah, this will probably be controversial, but I'm also talking about people in higher political places and the people that got all the money. They want us to fight with each other, but they don't want us to think it's them. They want us to fight against each other. So what do? We fall into the trap. So we fight against each other. We argue with each other. We hate each other. We kill each other. We disrespect each other. Over what? Over stereotypes, over labels, over things that distract us from the actual fucking problems going on in the United States of America and all over the world. And yes, I'm still got a hoarse voice, so I apologize if I'm difficult to listen to. Think about this. Let me give you a simple concept. If you were driving and you came to a red light and there was somebody standing on the corner holding a cardboard sign asking for help, what's the first thing that you think about? What's the first thing that pops into your head? I'll bet you that the majority of people, the first three thoughts they think is, oh good, here's another bum on the street. Oh, here's somebody out here just doesn't want to work and is just trying to get something for free. Or three, this person is probably looking to get money to buy drugs and alcohol. Those are usually the first three things that people think about. So when you're sitting there in your car and you're looking at this person who's standing in the pouring down rain, holding a sign, asking for help, these thoughts run through your head. And why do those thoughts run through your head? Because somewhere, somehow, some way, someone taught you don't give these people money because they're just going to spend it on drugs and alcohol. So instead of doing something, you think something nasty about them and you drive away. I'm not telling you that every single person standing on the side of the road with a sign is out there not trying to get money for drugs and alcohol, because that's quite possible. You have to understand that anything and everything is possible. But when you see somebody standing outside and it's 12 degrees and it's snowing, and I get the desperate sorry, I get the desperate times call for desperate measures. Would it kill you to run through a McDonald's drive-through and get them something to eat? Would it kill you to do that? Probably not. It's probably not convenient. So what we do is we add to our own demise by ignoring people in need. I'm not saying that you gotta spend a fortune on people, but a McChicken is $1. think a double cheeseburger at McDonald's, it used to be $1, but now I think it's $2. Uh, we've we have come to start treating each other more like conveniences. And I'll share a personal story. So I'm in California. I'd never been to California. And I had a horrific 2019. And I can count on one hand, other than my parents, who genuinely reached out and said, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? What can I do for you? Is there anything I can do? Do you need to talk? What do you need? I jump in the car the day after Christmas and I drive to California. All of a sudden I get all kinds of friend requests and I got likes on Facebook that I didn't even know that I knew that many people, and yada yada yada. So it's amazing how a change of circumstance changes things. So then I come home and I got people beating down my door. Rob, hey, can you help me with this? Rob, can you help me with that? If I got it, I give it to you. But the problem that I have is that you don't lie to people, because what that does is it makes you question everybody. And we've all been lied to. I know we've all been lied to. There's not a soul watching this video, if you watch this video, who can sit there and honestly tell me that they've never been lied to, that they've never been cheated out of something, all right? I'm the kind of person, I live a very simple life. I buy my shoes at Walmart. I practically wear the same clothes all the time because I like the way I dress. I have no sense of fashion. I am never going to be on the cover of GQ. I'm always going to be heavy set. I'm always going to have broad shoulders. But I am also going to have a brain in my head and a heart in my chest. And that's never going to change. No matter how many times people dick me over, no matter how many times people got to fuck with me, it's not going to change the person that I am. And it ain't because of anybody else. It's because of me and what is right. When I sat with homeless people in San Francisco and listened to them cry and talk and thank me for bringing them a sandwich and something to drink, did I have to post that shit on Facebook? No, I didn't. Because that's not how you do it. That's not how you be a good person. You don't get on social media and have somebody film it so you can boast about it. You tell people to be good to people. And then people got to do with it what they want to do with it. You know? Do with it what you want to do with it. You know? It doesn't cost anything to be a decent human being. But when you try to pass yourself off as a decent human being and you lie to people to their face to get money, to get help with something, you're selling your relationship with them over what? And this contributes to stereotyping people. This contributes to the hardness of the hearts of people, because there are people who truly need help and we won't help them because we've been screwed over by people. It's happened to me. I know it's happened to you. I know many people that it's happened to. I've been home from California for 3.5 weeks and it's already happened to me 3 times. I tell people all the time, just be straight. Just be straight with me. Nope. Take advantage. That's the motto. But then boo-hoo-hoo when something happens to you. and you expect everybody to be there for you. And when nobody's there for you, you cry a river of tears because nobody's there. I'm not going to talk about karma. I'm not going to talk about any type of religious aspect in this video. But I will say this. There's a meme that I found on Facebook that I absolutely love. I believe it to its core. And this is how I live my life. If you need the promise of heaven or the fear of hell to be a good person, you are not a good person. You shouldn't need a reward to be a good person. And you shouldn't need to fear a penalty to be a good person. You should be a good person because being a good person is what we should be. And we should be treating each other as good people because deep down, we're all human beings. I said it before and I'll say it again. I know a lot of white assholes. Do I hate white people? No. I know a lot of black assholes. Are all black people bad? No. I know one Asian bitch. Does that make all of Asians bad? No. We've all had bad experiences with one person, maybe two or three, of a different culture, of a different race, of a different gender. My God, I've had 5 first Christmases, which is really sad. But I've had 5 first Christmases. But I love women. I guarantee you I will have a 6th, probably a 7th, probably an 8th. Because I love women. I do. And there's nothing going to change that. And many of them can treat me horribly. It don't matter. I'm going to try again. You know? I believe that women and men should be equal, 100%. I believe in equality across the board. I don't care. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your background is. If we're all qualified for the job, we should all make the same amount of money. I don't understand why we have to continue to contribute to the stereotypes and the divisions. The divisions are what's killing us. We have to stop looking at each other as size, shape, color, and gender. We're human beings. I know everybody's heard it. And I know that, like, I feel like, you know, because a couple of people have told me, like, I don't know why you're doing these videos. Like, people know these things. People don't care. I care. I care, and I will continue to beat this dead horse until somebody cares with me. I will continue reinventing the wheel until somebody helps me build a better wheel. Because I know people watching this video understand what I'm saying. Because I'm not coming at you with big words, and I'm not coming at you with a fancy speech, and I'm not coming at you with a pre-scripted anything. I'm looking at a screen, I'm talking from my head, and I know that this is how other people think. I know that I cannot be alone with thinking the way that I do. My God, like, it's in the music that we listen to. It's in the TV shows that we see. It's all around us. And we feed into it. We feed into the divisions. Because we're just hearing and we're just seeing. But there's more to us than our eyes and our ears. At least I can tell you, like, you know, when you go into a place you can feel the vibe of the place. And you can get a sense of, maybe this isn't somewhere that I should be. Or, you know what, this feels cool. This feels cool. This seems like a good place to be. You could get the same thing with people. Like, you shake somebody's hand, like, and in that handshake or that hug or whatever, like, you can feel it. You can feel what this person's about. It's almost, I don't know how to really verbalize it, but it's just something that you just feel it. You just know it. But you can't get that just by a visual representation of somebody. You cannot look at a picture and be like, oh man, that person's bad news. Like, here's what kind of example do I want to use? Oh, nobody would have thought, looking at Mike Vick, that Michael Vick was somebody that was promoting dog fighting. My God, this is Mike Vick. No. People saw Ray Rice, little baby face Ray Rice kicking ass on the football field. Nobody had ever thought he'd knock his wife or girlfriend like 5 feet across the room and knock her the fuck out. You know? But I guarantee you, somebody close to these people knew, I'm going to keep my distance because just something don't feel right about this situation. Something just doesn't add up. And, you know, I've been in places and I've met people in certain places that have invited me to go do stuff. There was just something about it didn't seem right. There was something in my gut. There was just something about it that was like, no, not a good idea. But does that make them all bad? No, doesn't make them all bad. We have to stop looking at life just through the vision and hearing. Because there's more to a person than what you see on the outside. There's so much more to a human being than what you see on the outside. You can wear as much makeup as you want, but if you got an ugly heart, you're ugly. I don't mean that disrespectfully. You know, you can be as baby-faced and cute and wonderful and charismatic in any gender and still be out to scam people. And if all you got is what you see on the screen to go by, yeah, it's easy to get hooked on a good charismatic speaker. It is. I mean, my God, look at some of the most charismatic speakers that we've ever seen. You know, people talk shit about Malcolm X because, you know, growing up, not my parents didn't teach me this, but what I learned in the history books was Malcolm X hated white people. Now, growing up, it's like, well, why would he hate white people? I didn't understand why he hated white people. But guess what? He didn't hate white people. He didn't hate all white people. His way of talking was trying to lift the black man up that had been oppressed for how long, who had, oh my God, like, took forever for them to get the right to vote, to have the right to be free, which is bullshit. He's speaking out in the best terms possible about the people that keep holding the black man down. Unfortunately, we had to use stereotypes. We had to use black and white. And it turned into all-out war. All-out crazy shit. Again, black and white. I mean, any type of threat that seems to, and when I say threat, any type of movement that is bringing people together is a threat to the higher ups in the world. It is fact. Why do you think that people just disappear? Why do you think that the 60s was full of assassinations? You know, and none of them, what I should say is that all of them had conspiracy linked all around it. Everywhere you looked. Every direction. And if you look at it, most of the conspiracies, a lot of them had to do with the government. I'm not blaming it on the government. I'm just saying that there's a common denominator. When you've got 6,000 people, which is probably a bad estimate, but when you've got 6,000 people that are in charge, and you've got 350 million people of every different nationality and race and gender out on the outside, but you've got these several thousand up here, this down here is a threat. And if we don't keep them divided, we can't do anything. Think about that. There's 350 million of us. Of course, that's the last time that I ever saw that, so I'm sure that it's like 400 million now. But when you think about the amount of people who want the system to change, but those 400 million people can't get on the same page, you have to ask yourself why. Because going back to the beginning of time, we have been fighting over the same issues. We've been fighting over religion. We've been fighting over money. We've been fighting over race. We've been fighting over culture. We've been fighting over gender. It's 2020. And again, I ask, what is it that we've learned? And are we going to learn? And how much longer are we going to sit here on our asses and not do anything about it? Seriously. How much longer? Oh, we'll let the next generation take care of it. Then the next generation comes along. The next generation will take care of it. That's not the answer. It's not the answer. We are the answer. Human beings cause the problem. Human beings can solve the problem. But we can't solve the problem until we can sit down at a table together and have a conversation. And it is possible to do this. It is possible for men and women to sit down at a table and have a conversation. Have a difference of opinion, but have a discussion. And maybe together come up with a solution. But all the black people cannot come up with the solution to solve racism. All the white people cannot come up with a solution to stop racism. All the women cannot come up with a solution to stop gender inequality. All the men cannot come up with a solution to solve gender inequality. Separate. It cannot happen separately. It cannot. It cannot happen. Because none of the four groups that I named, which I could name many, 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 many more, which all of you can, none of a single group can come up with a solution that's going to work for everybody. And yes, I've heard it a million times that you're not going to make everybody happy. No, you're right. You're right. One person is not going to make everybody happy. But if you've got a representative or representatives or groups who come together and talk it out. So what if you argue? So what if you argue? So what if you disagree? At least you're making the effort. At least you're trying. It's not going to happen overnight. None of the problems that we have going on in the world today happened overnight. This shit has been building for decades, for centuries. This isn't anything new. And it's going to take time to solve the crisis. It's not going to happen in the snap of a finger. But it sure as hell is not going to happen while we continue to be separate entities. When we continue to add more divisions. When we continue, not only do we have divisions of race, but we've got divisions within the races. We've got divisions within the cultures because you add in gay and straight, you add in male and female, you add in Republican and Democrat. There are divisions within the divisions. And we're not seeing that. Because all we're seeing is, oh, rich guy got this. How do you know rich guy doesn't want to help? How do you know poor guy standing on the street with a sign don't want to work? Because it's what we've been taught. It's what we see. And that's all we see is this. It's mind-blowing. And I know that in some ways what I'm saying makes perfect sense to some people. And in other ways, I'm an anarchist because I'm out of my mind. But it is true. If everything was meant to be the same, the rainbow would not be multicolored. We wouldn't have different colors throughout our skies, throughout our mountains, throughout our valleys, throughout our forests. It's not meant to be the same, but it's meant to cohabitate together. And until we start doing that, we are just going to continue fucking shit up. Because that's what we're doing. I wish you all peace and love. All of you. I still hope somebody will join me. But if not, that's cool, because I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep doing this because this is what is right, and this is what I'm being told to do. But I wish you all peace and love from Connellsville, Pennsylvania, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day.